Hey there, Jeff here, and we're talking about computers today. If you're new to computers, if it's been a while since you've used computers, you've come to the right place. We're going to be starting with the basics here, and we're going to jump right into it to hopefully get you moving quickly. If it's been a while since you've been into Windows, this might look a little bit different for you. We're using Windows 11 today, but if you're using a PC that's still using Windows 10, don't fret, don't go away, okay? Luckily, the concepts are extremely similar. Things just look a little bit different, and that's okay. Also, I'm going to go ahead and add in a Windows 10 section later on, so that way we might be able to fill in some of the gaps for those of you that are still using Windows 10. But let's just jump right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is the concept that we're using a desktop. So just like a desktop at home or your desk at home, you'd have your paper in one place, you'd have some pencils in the other place, and of course you're going to rearrange things around. The whole goal of this video series is for you to be able to find the things that you're looking for faster. So you have less time being frustrated and you're able to jump right into it. Okay. So the one thing that we're going to just go right ahead, full steam ahead, is the start button down here. Now, if you're using Windows 10, you're going to see that your start button is way over on the left side. But now with Windows 11, your start button is right here. When I hover over that start button, we can see it right there. If you used Windows in the past, the button itself used to say start on it, but they've changed it. But if I go ahead and I hover over it, I'm still going to see the start button. So if I go ahead and I click on it, you might feel a little bit overwhelmed here. Wow, there is a lot of stuff. And I get it if when I click on that, you start to scratch your head and say, what the heck am I looking at here? Well, don't worry too much about the overwhelming feeling. We're just going to focus on a couple of things. And the first thing that I really want to get across to you is that when you click the start button, you can just start typing in the thing that you're looking for. For example, if I type in internet, I'll see under here applications or apps. In this case, I have Microsoft Edge installed, and Microsoft Edge is going to come with all versions of Windows. However, you may be using Google Chrome, you might be using Firefox, and that's okay too. But if you search internet, you're going to start to see this. I can also go back up to the search bar, and I can type in Edge. If I type in Edge, it's going to show up here and hopefully show me the best match, which is Microsoft Edge. I'm going to go ahead and select that right now. And here we go. We're looking at some news. I'm going to go to yahoo.com. And so I might get things like these notifications here, but I'm going to go ahead and close that for right now. Now, I'm going to be doing a separate video on specifically web browsing, so bear with me here. The whole goal of this video is just to understand navigation a little bit, okay? And when we talk about navigation in Windows, there are the three buttons that we use up here. This is the minimize button. As you can see, it popped up. This is the maximize button. And this red X here is the close button. So let's watch and see what happens. When I hit the maximize button, we're going to see it fills out my whole window. If I go ahead and I click it again, it's going to go ahead and shrink up. If I hit it again, of course, it's going to maximize again. And then when I'm done with that, or let's say I need to get that out of the way, I can go ahead over the minimize button here and I can click on that. And we're going to see that it just goes ahead and it folds down right down here. I can go ahead and I can click on that here to restore it. So just to repeat that again, if I go here and I click on it, it vanishes. Down here on my taskbar, I can click on that again. A good way to think about this is maybe if you imagine a soda can that you've just flattened by stepping on it, that might be a good way to think about or memorize what this button does. Kind of looks like an aluminum can that we've stepped on and flattened it. So when I want to make this disappear or minimize, I click on the minimize button and it goes down to the bottom of the screen. Let's go ahead and select it again though. And then we're going to go ahead and minimize it again. So now I've done a couple things on purpose here, and you're probably going to notice that I have a lot more icons than you might be seeing on your screen. And that's on purpose or by design, because I want to show you the whole idea here is that we want to customize our taskbar so that way we can find the things we want immediately. But before we do that, I want to just show you the basic functions of the taskbar here. When we have a lot of icons open, it can be really intimidating and we can get lost pretty easily. Here, if I hover over the icon, I'm going to find that I get a preview window of all the different programs that I have open. So here, this is the website I was showing earlier. I can go ahead and minimize it again. And if I hover over it, I'm going to go ahead and see a preview of it once more. But I have multiple programs open. So what happens when I move my mouse? This is the Microsoft Store. We can download applications here. I get a preview of that as well. If I want to look at it more closely, all I have to do is click on it. I can go ahead and minimize this one as well. And we're going to continue down the line here. This is Teams, which I use for work, and currently I'm looking at my calendar here. If I go over to my notes, I can see all my sticky notes here. And that's kind of handy. Let's open up a new program. So, like I described earlier, the big idea here is that I can go ahead, I can click on the start button, and I can just start typing in something. Right now, I need to do some math, so I'm going to type in calculator. And let's watch what happens when I open it. I select it, and now we can see this icon for the calculator has appeared at the very end. If I hover over it like I am right now, I can also see a preview of it right here. So when I click on it, I can start to do some basic math. 5 times 5, 25. Yeah, nothing surprising there, but it's handy to have it. We can customize our taskbar though to meet our needs. So for example, the calculator, maybe I want to have that all the way on the left-hand side. I can go ahead and I can pick this icon. I can click on it and you'll see how it kind of shrinks there for a second, the icon. We see some feedback when we click on it. I can now take this, drag it over to a different spot on the toolbar, just like that. So there I put it in about the middle. I'm going to grab it again. I'm going to move it all the way to the left. And you know what? I have Microsoft Edge here. That's what I use to browse the internet with. I'm going to grab that, drag it all the way over to the left as well. Kind of neat, right? Here's something else that's neat. Let's say I like to use the calendar a lot. I can go ahead and I can right click on it here and I have these new options. Just to recap, when we talk about clicking on the computer, 90% of the time, we're talking about using the left click on the mouse right here. But when I use the right click on the mouse, like you see here in this diagram, it's like I get a series of hidden options or advanced options, however you want to think about it. Now that we're back on the desktop again, we can see some of these different options that we have. In this case with the calculator, it gives me different styles of calculators to take advantage of, which is neat, but I don't need that right now. But what I am interested in is pinning this to the taskbar. Pinning this to the taskbar is exactly like how you would pin something on your corkboard at home. The whole idea is that it's always going to be there. So earlier we talked about closing programs, right? If I hover over the X, which is the close button, and then I close the button, which closes or quits the program, it's going to vanish. But look at that. The icon is still here. When I hover over it, I don't see anything except its name because it's not open. But now that I've pinned it to my taskbar, it's like having a shortcut to it all the time. I can go ahead and I can click on it, and then it's right back there. I've opened it up again. With Microsoft Edge, we can do the exact same thing. I'm going to go ahead and select Microsoft Edge. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close it, which is exiting or quitting the program. We're going to see that it's vanished. And when I hover over the bar, and when I hover over the icon, I don't get a preview anymore. And that's because I quit the program. But if I click on it again, it's going to reopen it. Kind of neat, right? So if there are a couple of programs that you like to use, the easiest way for you to access them might be pinning those items to your taskbar. So that way, every time you restart the computer, everything is right here for you. Okay, guys, I think we're going to pause it right there. That was just an introduction to the start menu in the taskbar. Thanks for sticking with us here, and we're going to continue to build on these skills in our next videos.